I think that the European producers, based on an advanced capacity and integrated upstream, definitely will have a very good chance in survival for the coming years, and that will be difficult years. It's for sure that the operating levels in the assets will be not as high as we would like to have them in the coming years, but by having the right cost structure and the right monomer prices, they will be of a very good competitive position. Another point to address here is that a couple of producers active in Europe themselves have investments in the Middle East. It is for me then also clear that these producers bringing product into Europe also will do that carefully, not to impact too much their business they have with their own assets in Europe. On cost structure, it will be very difficult. I would say here that they have an advantage in monomer costs, especially for ethylene. Propylene, the advantage is less pronounced. But on the other hand, you have to look into your own market in Europe and you see what type of suppliers do you have in Europe and what is their asset base. And I can see that if you have an old asset with small capacity, that you will have a harder time to survive in the coming years than when you are producing in the latest assets with huge capacity. Whether we should create protectionism in Europe to protect ourselves against imports. I would say that it may be too early. The point, and that is what I would like to address, in fact it is going the opposite way, that the regulations in Europe that are now coming in place soon on REACH, on ETS, that brings in fact the European producer in a more difficult position than the ones that are producing outside Europe. So we hope that by a associated approach from the industry that we can influence governmental decisions, and hopefully we will be able to maintain the majority of the commodity production in Europe at a cost competitive basis.